All right. So, once again, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here this afternoon during the afternoon session of the third installment of Rambong Partido Lecture Series. First of all, I'd like to thank the administration and faculty of Partido State University for the invitation to deliver this lecture before you. And of course, to Mr. Marjon Cedeno, the lead proponent and convener of the Rambong Partido Lecture Series. This is actually a wonderful opportunity for me to share my work that includes a certain place in Partido called Borabod. It's actually just a barangay right now in Lagunoy. But there was actually a time in the early 19th century when the people of Borabod wanted to establish itself as an independent town or an independent pueblo. So more on that later. As mentioned by Mr. Cedeno, by Marjun, the title of my presentation is The Principalia and the Establishment of Pueblos in Spanish Cabicolan. Visita Mabonga-Bonga Daet and Borabod Lagunoy compared, 1802 to 1809. So, um, this lecture is actually a response, if not a reaction to many things. But on a more personal level, I was actually inspired to work on this one during a trip to Naga from Quezon City. Pauli kami ng Naga kaito. Di ko na marumduman ko rin, siguro mga 2022 or 2023. We made a stopover somewhere in Candelaria to have lunch. And I was so fascinated by the ancestral houses that were near the restaurant that we were having lunch in, and I was so inspired to look at the history of the town of Candelaria. And apparently, I found out that Candelaria was established by the Principalia. They separated from the older town, Sariaya, to become an independent pueblo. And then sometime in 1887, they already have their own government, their own gobernadorcillo, their own parish, and they became an independent town. So I was inspired to write about the role of the Principalia in the creation of towns, especially when it comes to the towns created in Bicol. So these are some of the things that actually inspired me to work on this one. So first, it's actually a reaction to Teodoro Agoncillo's controversial claim that there is no Philippine history before 1872. You may have heard of this one before in your Philippine history classes, but Agoncillo made this claim many, many years ago, actually decades ago, sometime in the 1960s, and he claimed that there can be no Philippine history before 1872 because the sources are written in Spanish. So you cannot possibly recover the Filipino or the native voice because the documents, the sources that we use are written in Spanish. But years later, William Henry Scott, si Scotty, he actually wrote a response to Agoncillo's claim, and he forwarded his idea called cracks in the parchment curtain. So I was inspired by Scotty because in this study, I tried to look for the cracks in the form of documents written in the vernacular language. And in the case of Kabicolan, obviously it is Bicol. So I started looking for Bicol documents in the National Archives of the Philippines in the midst of this is no exaggeration, millions of documents written in the Spanish language. Igwang kadidikit dyan na nakasurat sa vernacular. So, I was actually very motivated to go to the archive sometime in 2023, 2024, just to look for these documents. And later on, we will dive into them. We will see what they contain and how I was able to decipher what it actually tries to convey to us. No, so it's also a response to the existing literature because generally the establishment of towns, the creation of pueblos, it's actually often attributed to the religious orders. And in the case of Bicol, not to mention Quezon Province and also Laguna, it's always attributed to the Franciscans, especially in the 1600s, 1500s, 1600s, even to the 1700s. It's always the Franciscans and their agency that has often been privileged by the existing historiography. So I tried to respond to that by arguing that when it comes to the 18th and 19th century, this assertion becomes untenable, and I will try to show that later. An example of that is the article by Cayetano Sanchez Fuertes when he discussed the foundation of Daraga in Albay, present-day Albay. Um, Fray Juan Duarez was the person that he identified as the founder of Daraga. So as we can see, it's attributed once again to a Franciscan friar, but this is sometime in the 19th century. But what I want to show here is uh, I want to show that the Principalia also played a significant role in the creation of towns, especially in the late 18th century to the late 19th century. But in the interest of brevity, I would like to talk about two cases, and that would be the one in Daet and the other being in Lagunoy. So, despite the privileged position of the Principalia, they hardly received scholarly attention in Philippine historiography. The Principalia and their role, not to mention their agency in shaping the colonial landscape, has scarcely received attention among scholars. Yung isa sa mga lagi kong binabasa tungkol dyan, syempre, si Norman Owen, ano, na nagsulat ng essay, nag-publish siya ng essay no 1974 called The Principalia in Philippine History, Kabikolan, from 1790 to 1898. Not to mention, he also published an article called Problems in Partido in 1990. I think that was a special issue on Bicol history by Philippine Studies in 1990. So it's also very interesting to read that regarding the Principalia, not to mention regarding Partido. And then, of course, Stephen Henry Totanes wrote about the Principalia, albeit about the American imperial period, the political and economic development of Sorsogon, and the role of the Principalia. So Totanes had already examined the Principalia, albeit in a different time period, and in the economic and political development of Sorsogon. Another inspiration behind the study is the work of Grace Concepcion, a colleague from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. In 2014, 2017, 2019, she wrote and published different studies on Laguna, 16th to 18th century Laguna. And she has actually addressed the gap that confronted the work of Tanes and even Norman Owen. And Grace's work has brought to light the role and agency of the Principalia in the formation and development of pueblos, as well as their dynamics of conflict, collaboration, and negotiation with the Spanish authorities. So, tiningnan ni Grace yung Laguna, gusto ko naman tingnan yung Bicol and later time period din yung gusto kong i-examine sa hapong ito. No? So, Grace examined land negotiation cases, for instance, in Laguna, including a land donation for a hospital in what is now Los Baños, not to mention a border dispute as well between Mahayhay and Cavinti, all in Laguna. So, the Principalia played a key role in the development of these towns, and not just the Franciscan friars, to whom their establishment is always attributed. So for this afternoon, I'd like to do three things. First, I examined the Principalia and how they negotiated with the colonial authorities with regards to the separation of their visitas from their mother town or matriz. That's always the term that I see in the documents. And of course, the creation of an independent town. Second, I discussed the role of the Principalia in the establishment of towns in 19th century Cabicolan, with San Vicente, that's in Camarines Norte, and Borabod, that was part of Albay in 1806, as the case studies. And delving into more detail, I'd like to explain the various reasons why the Principalia wanted to separate their visitas from their mother towns. So first of all, I'd like to mention that what is now Partido, actually Partido de Lagunoy, used to be part of Albay. There was a time that these towns, for instance, San Jose, Sangay, Lagunoy, Caramoan, not to mention present-day Garchutorena, they were part of Albay before 1846. That is why in documents from the early 19th century, we will see that it's often categorized under the province of Albay. So, dainin dumahahanap ang Lagunoy sa Camarines Files kasi part pa siya kang Albay before 1846, no? So that's something to take note of before we begin. I also would like to mention and show you using a map where these towns are in the present day. So uyan dyan ng San Vicente, mahihiling nindo, tig-encircle ko ang San Vicente. That's actually about 9 kilometers from Daet, a few kilometers away from Talisay. So yan itong mga taraid-taid na banwaan na dating nasa irarum nin Daet. Pero ngunyan independent towns na sinda, right? On the other hand, there is also Lagunoy, and this is where you find um, the former visita of Borabod, what is now Barangay Borabod in Lagunoy. So, yan ang satuyang nga adalan ko na hapon. Tapos hihilingon ta itong mga petisyon na sinurat ng mga prinsipalya na hali digdi sa duwang visitas na ini. No? Spoiler alert, one of these visitas eventually became an independent pueblo, that is San Vicente, while Borabod remained a mere barangay of Lagunoy until now. No? Dahil siya nakasuhay na banwaan, parte pa ng sa kan Lagunoy hanggang Ngunyan, sagkod Ngunyan. So, first, let's take a look at the case of San Vicente, Camarines Norte. Now, on August 4, 1802, the Teniente Actual Matias Simon and the Principalia of Visita Mabonga-Bonga sent a petition to the Alcalde Mayor of Camarines requesting that their visita be separated from Daet to become an independent pueblo. Later on, I will show you the document, but it was signed by 22 members of the Principales. So yan si mga dating kabesas de barangay, si mga kabesa pasado, tapos si mga kabesas actuales, no, si mga present or mga incumbent kabesas nagpirma sinda minsiring na petisyon. And they actually cited poverty and the lack of honor accorded to them in their subsistence and independence. Later, we will see the Bicol passages, and I actually translated them into English. So, Figure 3 shows you the document that I was able to gather from the National Archives of the Philippines. This is from the Erecciones de Pueblos record series, and it shows you the petition of the Principalia of Visita Mabonga-Bonga, beseeching the Alcalde Mayor of Camarines to separate their visita from Daet to form an independent town or pueblo. And the petition was signed by Mateo Simon, Teniente Actual, and also by the Principales. So yan itong mga signatories na sinasabi ko kasubago, ano? Okay, so let me just go to the text to show you what it contains. So going back to the document, iyo iniyan, ano? Tapos tig-transcribe ko siya. Uni si naguno kong petition hali sa mga Principales kan mabonga-bonga. So sabi digdi, Mateo Simon, Teniente Aktual digdi sa bisita sa Mabonga-Bonga. Ang gabos na prinsipales asin Aratagon digdi sa nasabing bisita, sakop nin banwaan sa daet, minadolok kami nin dakulang galang asin pagngayo-ngayo sa Senyor Hokom, na hinanyugon ini na samong ipinakikimaherak, na anolay niyamo kung mangyayari kaming nasabing taga-bisita, huli tahaloy ng taon na kami nagsisilbi sa banwaan sa daet, magpasagkod ngunyan, dai kami kaginhawaan o kaonrahan. So I translated that into English as follows. No? So it's Mateo Simon, the current lieutenant in the Visita of Mabonga-Bonga, together with all the principales and the freemen. Itong Aratagon, I translated Aratagon as freemen, pero pwede rin siyang i-translate as workers or laborers. No? At least si pagkagamit kang pag-atag sa mga documents that time, it means laborers. Okay? So which falls under the jurisdiction of the town of Daet, humbly present ourselves with deep respect and earnest supplication to your honor, requesting that our petition be granted due consideration, for our present condition has become truly burdensome. Should it come to pass that we, the said residents of this visita, remain under the same circumstances, we greatly fear for our well-being. Though we have faithfully served the town of Daet for many years until now, we have received neither relief nor recognition. Uni si kapadagusan kang Bicol document, ano? Nakon sa pastor na nagaataman kan samuyang mga kalag, herak nin kagurangnan tang Diyos, there you go, the CNT abbreviation once again appears. Pinag-uulayan ni palang ini ni na Marjun and Maxine in our group chat. Pero ang nahihiling ming pwedeng gusto sabihon kayan, kagurangnan tang Diyos. Na aataman niya mo, dai kami napapatabang sa nasabing tagadait kaya ipinakikimahirap niya mo sa samuyang puon na Senyor Hukom, natawan kami nin rogaring na pagbuot. Ang ganda nun, ano? Rogaring na pagbuot, sariling galaw, sariling loob, no? Yung pwedeng translation ng rogaring na pagbuot. Gobernador Silio, ang gobyerno, kaining nasabing bisita, nasukat niya mong makayahan ang nasabi ng samuyang pastor, asin sukat man kaming makapagsilbi, siring sa pagsilbi nin ibang banwaan. So in English, furthermore, regarding the pastor who tends to the care of our souls in the name of the Lord God, whom we revere and serve, we have received no assistance from the town of Daet in providing for his needs. Thus, we earnestly appeal to your honor to grant us the freedom to govern ourselves, that we be permitted to elect our own gobernadorcillo and establish an independent local government here in this visita so that we may both support our pastor and serve as other towns do. May kapadagusan pa yan, no? Sa pagkakami igwanan nin Sanggatos may tulong pulo, may anom na tributo, na dai lamang idinadakula kaining nasabing bisita. Huli sa pagka nasasakupan, kami nin banwaan sa daet na iyo ang ipinaglilikay nin mga tao. Sa pagkaduwang banwaan, ang pinagsisirbihan nin sarong hawak, gayon niyan, ano? Duwang banwaan, sarong hawak ang nagsisirbi. Ang ikinakamuot ko ta na nin mga tao na maguntok digdi sa mo. Huli tamarhay ining samuyang lugar, dakulang daga, an madadanaw, asin sa kontod, di ko mahanap yung meaning ng kontod, na dai ko kulangon nin marhay na pagtatanuman nin sukat pakinabangan kaya samuyang puon ining samong ipinakikimahira kunbaga sukat hinanyugonin mga talingang matuninong na linala uminggayo ang dakulang pagtabang asin pagkaherak samuya. Sa pagkatotoo kaining samong eskrito, nagfirma akong tinyente sa sakong pangaran asin ang gabos ng mga maginoong ngunyan sa ikaapat na aldaw sa bulan sa Agosto sang 1882. And this is the English translation. We now number 136 tributes, and this population continues to grow despite being counted under the jurisdiction of Daet, a situation that has caused growing dissatisfaction among the people. With a single body serving two towns, the people wishes to settle here with us, having seen that this land is good. Its plains and wooded hills offer abundant ground for cultivation and livelihood, lacking nothing for the sustenance and prosperity of a community. For all these reasons, we humbly submit this petition to our Lord, that it may be heard with discerning and compassionate ears, as we sincerely hope for great aid and mercy to be extended to us. Eventually, the petition of the Principalia of Visita Mabonga-Bonga was granted by the Alcalde Mayor. And therefore, they were given the chance to create their own town, to establish their town, and it was named San Vicente. It was after the Dominican saint San Vicente Ferrer. So the Pueblo of San Vicente was established in 1803, but they did not have their own curacy. It's important to note that by this time, in the early 19th century, the Franciscans have already ceded control and even influence of Camarines Norte to the secular clergy. So, mga seglar ng kapadian kang Diocese kan Cáceres at may kapot kan Camarines Norte. So, the pueblo remained a visita or an adjoining town of Talisay, magkataid lang sinda, no? Through the rest of the 19th century. Kung kaya pag hiniling nindo ini mga records in the late 19th century by 1876, the province of Camarines Norte was completely handled by the secular clergy. That's one. And for another, Talisay and San Vicente were always together no in these documents. Di ko aram kung dahil saro lang ang simbahan ninda or dahil sa Talisay nagsisimba ang mga taga San Vicente. It's not particularly clear. But what is clear is that they were handled by the secular clergy and that they were together always in records, at least until the late 19th century. So by 1876, they were already administered by Don Balbino del Castillo and Don Pablo Pajarillo. Obviously, the Pajarillo last name is native to Camarines Norte. Kadakol pa mga Pajarillo ngunyan sa Cam Norte na nagkakralase actually sa Naga. During my time in Ateneo de Naga, may mga naging schoolmates pa ako na Pajarillo ang apelido. So, it's obviously a name native to Camarines Norte. So, native priests na ang may kapot kan Camarines Norte in the 19th century. Right? So this is another record of the Pueblo de San Vicente, which I found from the National Archives. It's just a profile, a demographic profile of the town. So you see there, I think this is from 1885. They now have 29,650 people living there. Sorry, I think that's the land area. Sorry, that's 29,000 hectares. No, yan ang sa indang land area, and then 9 kilometers. This is the distance from Daet, and then you have here the means of transportation. You have here the number of natives and then Europeans being profiled, and then of course the races of the residents and then the language being spoken in San Vicente, Camarines Norte. So I asked ChatGPT to reimagine the church in San Vicente based on a picture that I found of San Vicente, I think in the 1960s. So iyo ini itong artificial intelligence illustration kang kapilya or kang simbahan sa San Vicente. I'm not just sure kung kasuarin ini itinugdas pero ining photograph na nakuha ko hali ini sa 1960s no. So pigpa illustrate ko siya sa ChatGPT gamit ang AI tool no para mas malinaw ang sa tong litrato kan simbahan. Right? So that is the first case, no? So the principales of Mabonga-Bonga, they were successful in lobbying that their visita be granted the status of an independent pueblo. Let's now go to the case of Borabod, Lagunoy. And again, spoiler alert, the Isinda naging independent na pueblo. Komplikado ang explanation kung taano. Kadakol problemang nangyayari sa partido kay itong panahon na ito. And I think Professor Owen has already written extensively about those problems in partido in his 1990 article. But let me dive into the details, at least explain to you why the principales of Borabod wanted to separate from Lagunoy. Ano ta gusto nindang magsuhay? As in magkaigwa nin sadiring pueblo, ning rogaring na pagbuot according to the previous document that we established. So, the Principalia of Visita Borabod in Lagunoy, which was then part of Albay, filed a petition to the Alcalde Mayor Domingo de Navea on July 10, 1806. They were requesting that they should have their own gobernadorcillo, that their visita be separated from Lagunoy and be established as an independent pueblo. There are more petitioners in this document. There are 49 according to my count, and it was led by a certain Don Saturnino Fernandez. So just like the previous document, the Principales of Borabod cited, quote, various sufferings, makuring gayo ang mga pagtios as the reason for their desire to separate from Lagunoy. They actually enumerated those sufferings, and there are 6. And I hope you bear with me because it's a little tricky reading these documents because of the old Bicol, not to mention the document that I was examining or I examined is also fragmented. Girisi na, in other words, may hiling nindo atsan no, sa mga litratong ipapahiling ko. Pero ini itong first stage kang petition, diba? Very very interesting nakalaag dyan kami ang mga principales as in iba pang mga naturales kaining bisita sa Borabon. No? So sinda ang petitioner in the case of Lagunoy tapos silingon ta kung anong sinurat ninda ano ang sa indang justification kung taano dapat magsuhay ang burabod sa Lagunoy. So sabi ninda, kami ang mga prinsipales asin iba pang mga naturales kaining bisita sa burabod. Sa dakulang galang asin kapaneroan, nadolok kami nin pagngayo-ngayo sa samuyang puon, na ansamong pinagmamawot makasirong kami sa limpoy nin sa imong pagkaherak. Kung sukat sa mahamison na puso, that's actually heart, puso, lilingya kami kan matamong may herakon, taikanang gayod ang sangkap na isip asin huna-huna, pati minasarig kami kaining samong mga kasakitan. Kulit akon ika an makimaherak sa Senyor Hukom, dai, mayo, medyo typographical error yung dai, mayong kagabatan huli sa imo kaya, Senyor, pinaglalaom na gayo mi an sa imong pagtabang na na itao sa mong kapitaniya, digdi sa sinabi ng bisita, huli ta makuring gayo an pagtios. Medyo naiintindihan ta pa siya, no? Ta ang Bicol niya, most of the words used in the paragraph, we still use the Bicol words now. Right? So, dahil ko na yung translate sa English, I think medyo nakuataman si sense kaini, nagpapabisto sinda, di ba? Nakikimaherak sinda sa alkalde mayor, natugutan sindang magsuhay, as in maging independenteng pueblo, ta kadakol sindang mga pagtios, no? Makuring gayo ang pagtios sa indang bisita. So, sinaro-saro yan actually ng mga prinsipale. So, ipapahiling ko sa Indo, tapos siguro i-discuss ko maning kadikit kung paano ko siya na-interpret saka na-decipher. Ta medyo masakit, ano? Parakit na nga ni sa dokumento, Old Bicol pa itong sakuyang hinihiling sa mga dokumentong ini, no? So, uni si Inot na justification, inot na rason kung taano da asinda nagtitios sa indang bisita, no? Mahihiling nindo na parakit na talaga si dokumento, masakiton siyang i-reconstruct. Dawat na nga ni igwa akong Spanish na counterpart kang dokumento, iba mang giraray si Bicol no? May mga bagay sa Bicol language na dai siya na i-translate, dai siya na idakitaram adequately into Spanish. So, igong mga nawara digdi sa dokumentong ini ninhulit at parakit na nga ni, no? Girisi na, dai ko na siya ma-recover. But anyway, saro-saroon ta. Medyo nasakitan akong i-reconstruct ining inot na justification ta kadakol mayo, no? Kadakol napakit na part, tapos kadakol man words na dai ko na mabasa, dai ko na ma-recover. Kung kaya kadakol question marks, kadakol ellipses, no? Pero tig-highlight ko itong siguro sense na pwede tang makuha digdi sa passage na ini, no? Let me read the passage to you. Asinan sa mong kapitan pasado, si dati daanindang kapitan sa Lagunoy, nagtaram na kundai halianin kapitan sa sinabi ng bisita, maraot ta makikipagligwas na nindaga asin nin mga lugares na kaharani sa sinabi ng bisita. Um, the way I interpreted this, it means that the previous Gobernador Silio of Lagunoy warned the people of Borabod that if they allow the current or the present Gobernador Silio to still administer their visita, uh, he will be able to usurp or use the land in Borabod for his own purposes. No, so habo ninda na masako pa sinda kaining kapitan na ini kung kaya gusto nindang magsuhay na sa banwaan nin Lagunoy, no? The present Gobernador Silio is trying to usurp or to gain the land in Bisita, Burabot. Kaya sabi kang dating kapitan, no, maraot da iyan ta makikipagligwas na nindaga asin in mga lugares ining present na Gobernador Silio. So that's what I got from justification number one. But maybe as we go along, we can get a sense of why they wanted to separate. No? Medyo malabo pa pag-abot digdi, but maybe the second reason will give us some more details on the petition. So this is the second reason. Again, parakit na. Although nasa third justification itong mga nawarang words, the second reason was easier to transcribe and translate. Sabi ninda, an ikadua, ikinamumugtak sa samong bisita ang mga almasen o yung mga storehouses sagkod aso kainut-inuti pang mga aldaw na buhay pa sa mong mga apo, mga grandparents, sinda giraray ang nag-ataman kan mga haverial nin hading CN patin sagkod ngunyan kaya iyo inikuta na ang pagmaot niya mo giraray nabugtakanin sa diring manini kapitan digdi sa sinabi ng bisita. So, ang sinasabi digdi sa pangaduang justification, na itong mga elders ninda sa Burabod, sinda ang caretakers kan mga storehouses kan colonial government, no? Ining Haverial, nasakitan akong i-interpret ini kan inod. Pero tig-share ko na ini initially kina Marzun, kina Maxine, kina Bridget na yaon sa satuyang meeting ngunyan. Nasabi ko, um, naghagad ako ng tabang sa AI, sa artificial intelligence to scour the internet, look for words that may be the etymology of haber real. And true enough, it's actually derived from Spanish, haber, real, no? Dahil ko aram na may noun pala na haber. Ang huna ko lang na haber itong verb na to have. Pero may haber pala na noun. Tapos real obviously is an adjective to mean royal. So ang ano niya, ang pwedeng literal translation niya ay royal properties, royal goods or royal assets. So tig-double check ko yan sa dictionary kang Real Academica Española, RAE, no? Sa website kang RAE. Nagluwas ba ng gad na iyo yan ang definition ng haber. So, bakulang tabang ang AI sa pagsusog kang mga arog kaning tataramon. Dai ka na Google ning pirang oras o aldaw kakahanap ko anong gusto sabihin kaning sarong tataramo na ini ano. So it facilitates work for you if you know how to use it, di ba? So haber real sinahanap kong meaning, gusto sabihin si mga tributes, no? Sinda ang nagaataman kadtong mga tributo nin hadeng CN pinag urulayan mi na ini na Maxine sa GCME hadeng CN. Ang interpretation ko kang CN, kagurangnan niya to. So, inaapod na kagurangnan, apparently, ang hade. Di ba? So, bago nahiling ta, kagurangnan tang Diyos. Di ba? CNT Diyos. Ngunya nahiling ta naman, hadeng CN. And this is not the first time that I encountered the abbreviation. I was part of a project sometime in 2023 to 2024 um, where I transcribed and translated Bicol documents from 1704, no? Mas amay na century, 1704, si sa kuyang tigta-transcribe na documents. Nahiling ko man ining CN, pirang beses, hading CN. Kadtong tigigibo ko tong proyekto, di ko siya na-realize, no, na pwedeng hading kagurangnan niya to. Of course, it's not yet final. It's not yet 100% sure. But that is the best interpretation that we have right now. If you can offer something better later, then maybe we can talk about it. But that is the best interpretation that we have right now. So, iyo ini si reason kung taano sinda nagahagad ning sadiring kapitan o gobernadorsilyo sa Borabot. The mga caretakers da sinda kadtong kinokolektang tributes para sa hade kan Espanya, no? So hading CN. Very very interesting abbreviation, hading CN. Dai mo yan kung dai ka tatao ni Bicol, baka dai mo man siya ma-interpret kasi mayo man akong nahihiling sa Spanish na arog kaining abbreviation. No? So this is the English translation. Like kung yan babasahon, ta medyo na nasabutan ta naman si pangadua, madaling masabutan. Uni ang ikatulo, na nagahapit nin mga efektos na dinadara sa kabisera nin Albay. Kami gabos na taga-bisita ang nagpapagal sa paghakot o paglunad kan sinabi ng Haverial. 'Di ba? Actually, doon sa previous paragraph, ano siya, abbreviated siya, HAVL. No, so R tapos L. Sabi ko daw ni Haverial, hanggang sa nahanap ko ang Haverial, no? So yan ang nuances ng paleography, may mga abbreviated words na dai mo tulos makukuha ang definition sa inot na basa. Talagang kaipuhan din ng kadikit na experience. Minsan nga ni mas maray kung may tabang ning artificial intelligence tools para lang mapadali si paghanap ng mga arog kaining tataramon, no? So, sabi digdi, saro ka iyan, paano daw baga senyor ang samong pakautob-tulos kan tibaad ng hahagaron nin samuyang mga puon na minangag datong huli tadainin rugaring na gobyerno. Kundi magtataong nga na siguro muk na yan dapat giraray nin pakaisi sa Lagunoy sa samong kapitan. Huli ta iyo ang kabisera na iyo ang nagbubuot sa muya. Medyo masakit siyang intindihan, ano? So, hilingon ta ang English. translation. Sa kuya lang ining translation, so di pa ini polished, pero this is the best one that I have so far. We are the ones hauling the various goods brought to the cabecera of Albay. We, all from the Visita, are the ones laboring in the carrying and unloading of what is called the Haverial, the tribute or royal goods. Now, how, Senor, do we immediately follow our master's orders when it is not even in our own government or our government that gives orders, but always the one in Lagunoy who decides for our captain, our kapitan? Because it is the cabecera that makes the decisions over us, no? Ang mga bisita kaya mga satellite ano ini no, satellite settlements ini mayong sa diring kura, mayong sa diring kapitan, siguro may garo leader sino duman na kapitan ng apod, pero mayo siya ning autonomy, no, from the actual kapitan of the matriz, the mother town in Lagonoy. So they were complaining that they don't have the autonomy. Pero ming hali sa kapitan kan Lagonoy itong orders, no, not to mention they were burdened with, all the work that they have to do. Maray lamang pati kung yaon sa nasa Lagonoy, pero ang sa indang trabaho darahon ining mga um, Haverial, di ba? Pasiring sa kabisera kang Albay. So medyo masakit ang sa indang gibuhon in that regard. Right? Number four. Uni ang pang-apat. Di ba? Nahiling do ang ikaapat. Dai kami nakahimo. Medyo may mga old Bicol digdi, no? So please bear with this. Dai kami nakahimo nin paggibo kan samong ermita, ni tribunal, ni kasarial, huli nga ni kan mga pag-atag niya mo, asin dai kami nakakapag-celebrar kan samuyang patron na iyo si Senyor Santo San Juan Bautista. I was told by Maxine that San Juan Bautista is still the patron of Burabod until now. Huli nga ni sa sinabing mga kaatagan sa paghimo nin sakayan, pagdespatso sa paghahatod nin mga surat sa tibaan ng mga banwaan, kami giraray na taga-bisita an sinusugo, asin ang iba pang mga orden na palain-lain na bagay. May mga masakit na words digdi. Anong gusto sabihin ng nakahimo? It means to arrange, no? To arrange or to do the necessary things. Okay, so nakahimo. Daisinda nakakahimo nin paggibo kan sa indang chapel, yung ermita, tribunal, that's actually the municipal hall, and then the Casa Real. Right? So daisinda nakakagibo kan mga bagay na iyan ninhuli sa indang mga pag-atag, which means labor sa indang mga trabaho, no? Daisinda nakaka-celebrar kan sa indang kapistahan ninhuli sa indang pag-atag. So, in case pasakit maintindihan ining paragraph na ini, uni an English translation na tig-prepare ko, no? So, fourth, we have been unable to build our ermita, our tribunal, or casa real because of the many obligations we have been assigned. And so, we are unable to celebrate the feast of our patron, Señor Santo San Juan Bautista, because of these many burdens, such as constructing boats, processing official dispatches, and delivering letters to various towns. It is always we, the people of the Visita, who are sent for these tasks along with many other orders concerning all sorts of things. Kadakol pinapagibo sa inda. In other words, sa ininda kayang i-prepare or 'di ba itugdas an sa indang kapilya, an sa indang tribunal, as in Casa Real. Right? So that's the fourth reason. Number five, medyo masakit ini. Again, may fragments sana ini. May parakit na siyang portions itong document na kapot ko. No? So, kan ikalima, kan panahon ni Padre Don Jose Diaz Vardera, binugtakan kami nin maestro sa eskwela nin 20 taon, 20 years. Ngunyan habo na kaming bugtakan nin maestro sa Lagunoy, iyo inigabos ang mga karatan o mga kasakitan kan samuyang mga aki. Takun isinusubol sa kabisera sa pag-adal nangagdudulag na padidihan sa kadlagan or papadihan sa kadlagan, hulita dainin nagaatama na kag-anak. Marahay kan binubugtakan nin sinabi ng maestro sa sinabi ng bisita, dainin nagdudulag or nangagdudulag, tanaiitungan nin sinabi ng mga kag-anak as sumakakapag Santa Rosario. can, dot, dot, dot. Fragment siya. Dahil ko siya nagbilog ta may mga girisi duman sa next page. But anyway, may mga difficult words na naman digdi. Kaarog ning papadihan, actually the root word is dihan. The present day counterpart is dyan. Papa Dyan. Pasiring duman, di ba? To go to a certain place. So, ang masakit na sinusubol pa ang mga aki ninda sa kabisera, nagdudurulag, nagduduruma na lang sa kadlaga, nagsisuriming siguro, takadakol burabod, ano, kadakol springs, nagsisuriming na lang si mga aki ninda, tapos mayong nagsusupervise na kag-anak or parents, ba? Kag-anak is the archaic Bicol word for magurang, kag-anak. Tapos yung iitongan is to look after, no? Nangagdudulag, ta naiitongan nin sinabi ng mga kag-anak. Mas marayda akong igwasin daning sa diring eskwelahan sa bisita, may sa diring maestro, para di nagdudurulag si mga aki, tapos nababantayan pa sinda kan sa indang mga magurang. Yan ang gustong sabihin kang naiitongan nin sinabi ng mga kag-anak, no? Pag nagbabasa ka mo ni mga arog kaning documents, mas maray kung igwa ka mong PDF daw, PDF lang, kaitong vocabulary de la lengua Bicol ni Marcos de Lisboa, no? So that you can define these archaic Bicol terms that we no longer use in the present. So that is the fifth reason. So let me now go to this is actually the translation, so I explained it anyway, so I don't have to read this. Um, I actually generated some photographs from ChatGPT just to give us a sense of what the principales were complaining about. No, so they wanted a school teacher of their own, and during the time of Vardera, they referred to that as well. There was a school teacher during the time of this former curate. Alright, so an ikaano, again, may parakit na naman. Sobrang sayang kasi maray nga ni ining Lagunoy ta na ano ko pa no, na recover ko pa. Pero igo talagang mga dokumento sa National Archives, like I was telling Marjun earlier, like the one on Sangay, the Principality of Sangay, dai ko na siya ma-recover. No, talagang kabanga kan dokumento mayo na. It was so hard to transcribe, and I can try to fish something out of it, but I don't think it'll be significant enough, no? Pero maybe another time I can share that with you. But in the meantime, this is the deplorable state of documents, especially those that are part of the Erección de Pueblos record series, particularly the ones in Albay, in the Albay record series. So medyo ano na siya, no? Dai na magayon ang sayang state, ang sayang estado sa ngunyan. Alright, so ikaano, medyo masakit ining maintindihan ano, pero tig-highlight ko lang itong mga importante. Kan taon 1805, no? That's 1805. Binanga da si sa indang bisita. Tapos sinalian pa ning saro, tapos na inaan pa sinda ng mga tao, 'di ba? So they were actually wondering paano pa sinda mauswag, paano pa sila uunlad, no? Kung binabawasan pa sila ng mga tao sa bisita. So ito yung mga uni itong mga complaints, uni itong mga grievances kan mga prinsipalya. So, i-translate ko na lang siya sa English para mas madali na siyang masabutan. So, in the year 1805, our visita has now split into three parts. One has separated, while the other two, what else can we say, are still striving for the progress of our said visita, though we are seeing the number of people in our visita diminishing. All of these hardships we bear with a sincere goodwill, which we continuously lift up to our Lord. And so, Señor, our hope is great in the petition we are making. Therefore, before you, our Lord, we humbly entrust our plea, relying on the virtue and uprightness of your justice for that which we seek, what we truly need. Right? So, uya itong mga signatories duman sa petition na ito. Tigta-try kong i-transcribe ining mga pangaran na ini, but as you can see, many of the first names of the principales, they were also abbreviated. So you will have to figure out ano yung mga pangaran na ini. Yung JUN, no? Anong gusto sabihin kaya? AMBO. Diba? So, even the names of the petitioners um were abbreviated like that. Tapos siguro kung nagangalas ka mo, sir, ano yung garo pakpak ning anghel na drawing dyan sa pangaran ni Ambrosio Baldi something, no? That's actually their way of authenticating para maaraman mo na authentic si Perma, sorry. Usually may mga arog kaya na kurit pagkatapos kang pangaran, no? Para lang masabi na authentic itong Perma. So that was their way of authenticating their signatures. All right? Very, very interesting. So, according to Norman Owen, the problems in Partido tend to revolve around questions of autonomy and authority. And we have seen that in the case of Visita Borabon. And Owen also explains and actually attributes the autonomy of the principales to the remoteness of Lagunoy. Harayon ba kayang Lagunoy sa kabisera kang Albay, mayo pa man maray na tinampo kadto, hanggang ngunyan siguro mayo pa maray na tinampo, may mga reblocking, no? Lagunoy enjoyed more freedom than Philippine towns to interpret the requirements of the church and the state as the Principalia saw fit, and had used this freedom to earn a reputation for being self-willed. So yan si sinabi ni Owen dun sa iyang Problems in Partido na article na pinublish sa Philippine Studies ka 1990. Again, the Principalia petition was eventually disapproved by the colonial authorities. Borabod remained a visita of Lagunoy. Dai ko pa nasisimbag kung no? Dai ko pa nahihiling si mga dokumento na pwede magpaliwanag sa tuya. Ano daw si mga rason kan colonial authorities, ano ta, status quo mo na ang Borabod, tapos itong San Vicente man tinakuan sinda ning independent pueblo status. Maybe that can be a story for another day. But in the meantime, I showed to you how the Principalia actually exercised their agency, both in the visitas of Mabonga-Bonga and Borabod. Mabonga-Bonga is in Daet, then Borabod is in Lagunoy. And we learned that they also have their own agency. May sadiring pagbuot ang mga Principalia sa indang kagustuhan na isuhay itong mga bisita ninda para maging mga pueblo, maging mga banwaan. So, yun na nga, no? They exercise their agency, and we have seen that in the two documents that we examined. And not to mention, the Principalia of Mabonga-Bonga successfully negotiated their petition with the colonial authorities. Actually, mas komplikado pang istorya kainita. May saro pang banwaan na may problema ang daet kay itong panahon na ito, and that's the town of Talisay, no? Si Talisay man earlier, siguro mga 1797, nagtry sindang magsuhay sa daet. Dahil ko aram kung kasuarin sinda na dagus, pero eventually naging independent pueblo sinda. Until now, actually, Talisay is a separate municipality from Daet. So, on the other hand, the Principalia of Borabod failed in their attempt, and their visita remains to this day a mere barangay of Lagunoy, which is now part of Camarines Sur. Diba? So after 1846, binago ni Governor General Claveria si boundary kang Camarines Sur tsaka Albay. So kung dati vertical, ngunyan nahihiling ta horizontal na. Diba? Kung kaya ang Partido de Lagunoy, part na siya nin Camarines Sur after 1846. Right? So, siguro gusto ko lang din sambiton digdi, no, na nag-iiba-iba, manlain-lain ang resulta, ang responses kan mga colonial authorities. This is actually something that we can do to other visitas, not just in Bicol, but also in the Philippines. So the other visitas, like I mentioned earlier, the town of Candelaria, they used to be a visita of Sariaya, and then by 1887, they became an independent pueblo. So, kadakol pa kitang pwedeng hilingon na cases. Bako lang sa Bicol, bako lang sa Partido, bako lang sa Camarines Norte. If we take a look at the ones in Ilocos, in Pampanga, not to mention in Laguna and in Quezon Province, kadakol pa kitang mga arog kaining istoryang maguguno, no? We just have to mine the documents in order to reconstruct those episodes in our history. And with that, I would like to end my presentation, and I would be happy to address any questions or comments you may have about my presentation. Diyos mabalos po sa indong paghinanyog, and as we always say, Insaysay Bicol para sa Orog Kararong pang pagsaysay.